We're
going to talk about the editing ideas that I have for this.
Cool.
So this first one might take out our little intros, but I have an idea for the future.
Cool.
Hey, you guys, and welcome back to Not Dead Yet,
But Still Killing.
with your host, Ryan Hill.
And your other host, Sarah K. Goodell.
All right. It's a new year. I know we talked about the new year already a little bit,
Yes.
so we'll leave that to bed. But it's a new year, and we have our first guest, which I'm very excited about.
Me too.
So
I'm a little guilty because I dragged her all the way from Sherman Oaks, but very excited.
Yeah, she's a team player, and we love a team player. So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
What is killing you?
The fact that I can't multiply myself into 5 people.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I know we probably have already covered this on the New Year's special, but I did lose my head administrator at my day job, right at like New Year's Eve.
Uh-huh.
And
she said Happy New Year. She quit.
No notice, just out. And so I've been spending the last 2 weeks just kind of figuring out all of the little fires that have been in my business that I didn't know about.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, also trying to purge my house and my storage unit.
Yeah. Well, but you've been doing a really good job.
I have. I just haven't really slept, so
yeah.
That's why the 5
What's
people.
been killing you is exhaustion.
Exhaustion, yes. Yes.
Don't give her the power to kill you.
What's killing you, Ryan?
Okay. For me, what's been killing me is time traveling backhanded compliments. Because I've been working out, and I haven't been drinking. It's been a little over 2 months, almost 3. Yeah, I know. Weirdly, the not drinking part has like been the easiest thing. Because you don't need it. Yeah. Honestly, if I could give up food for a while, I would. I know that sounds like I'm saying I would be anorexic. I know. But like, if you could take pills to like get all the vitamins and nutrients you need, because it's just easier for me to just not do something. Like if I either doing it or I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But I've been losing a little bit of weight and putting on some muscle, and I got a little bit of a tan, and people have been noticing, which is great. But they will occasionally do these things where it's like, oh my God, you look so good now. And I'm like, okay, you could have just stopped. Like, right? It's like, it's one word. It's like 3 letters. To
be
honest, just say you look so good.
This girl that has made my New Year's hell used to do that all of the time. I mean, she's like 20 years younger than me. I am her boss. Once she said to me, "You look cute for once."
For once is even, that's purposefully rude. Now it feels like an accident.
Strike number 1. Strike number 2, I've showed her like fun pictures from me in college, also over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I heard what happened.
Stop. Sorry. I should have.
And then
it's rude.
In her exit email that she sent us during New Year's weekend, it was, "You guys both have great qualities. Mine was charming and ambitious, but ...
Oh, she put a but?
Uh-huh.
My mom always said that if you say but, that means like it erases an apology.
100%.
You say like, I'm sorry, but it means that you're like, now you're like weaving in an excuse for what it is. I would say that mine haven't, first of all, you both were very complimentary and did it the right way. I think women know this better than men, actually, because women also pay closer attention. I give this to women because they pay closer attention to the precision of their words. Yeah. And I think they learn that some women, she's like, not all these bitches. No, but I think that because they learn that in high school, their bullying and teasing is a little bit more subversive and a little bit more like accurate. Like, oh, cute. Yeah. They still said cute. But they didn't say cute.
It's like, bless your little heart.
Yeah, bless your heart. Whereas guys are like, you're a fag, push. Yeah. Like, that's, so I don't think they learn nuance as well. So, like...
I am dying to jump in.
No, jump in, please jump in. Tell me your thoughts. This is our guest. We're going to give her a fantastic intro when she's actually been here this whole time. No. Carla, but we'll give her whole intro. But, like, please jump in. We would love for you to jump in.
Listen... 50 Shades of White. I mean, I'm off-white, but enough that I can tell you that the passive-aggressive thing is down to an art, as you say. It might not be overt bullying, but whenever someone's like, don't take this the wrong way, but...
Well, they're going to say...
It's going to be up the butt, is how you take it. So, yes. Only someone who's been told that my hair and dancing are brave. I
You
don't
never
think that
wanna be
belongs
there.
in either place, to be quite honest. So I'm like, I'm not in the front lines of Kandahar. I'm not brave. I'm not battling anything.
I love that for you.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
Or just like, oh, men must find you so whimsical or
Oh,
something.
yeah, look,
Weird.
whimsical. Like you're a dancing fairy or something.
And the other line that you guys, like, oh, you look great still. The still should be silent.
And I mean, it's just, and that's why I say there are the overtly rude ones where I'm like, if you don't know that that's rude, you're a fucking dumbass.
Yes.
And then there are the ones where it's like, and like, that's why I'm saying I'm giving men a little bit of a pass, because it's been a couple of men who still feel weird about complimenting another man.
Sure.
But they'll be like, oh, you're looking so much better, or like, whatever, which is still, yes, I mean, it is better, but, or now, or, but it's just like, hey, just go with like, you look great.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Which we both did.
Yeah, you both look great. Both of you look great.
You should show the camera your farmer's tan though, so they understand how tan you've gotten. Look at that! Look at that!
Is that like a whole lot of color difference?
It's ombre, just like your sunglasses.
Lovely.
Yeah. I'm like, and honestly, if you see the skin down here, it's real. I'm translucent. You can see my heartbeat.
Well, you've got dark hair, so there's shading.
Yeah, no, and I actually clipped this back. I
Good job.
looked like I had Velcro on my chest. So I was like, maybe we tone that down. But what's really funny is that chest hair is now back in for the gays and out for the straights.
Yeah. My dad was really furry, so it's just out for me forever.
Period.
Yeah.
Dave has no chest hair?
He's got like a little eagle, but it's not like I grew up watching food get stuck in my
Oh.
head. Yeah, you know.
Wait, and what about
There's a
you?
support group for that.
What about you? Do you like chest hair or no
I'm
chest
very
hair?
happy chest hair is back in for women.
I like the one aggressive curly Q like
Absolutely.
nipple hair.
Yeah.
Just so just another thing to womanscape now. What do I don't mind a bald Fabio chest,
Okay.
but I prefer a little hair.
A little hair.
Yeah,
I think
because
a little hair
otherwise
is
it's
nice.
a little like
Yeah.
Ken doll.
Yeah.
And it gets a little, especially when gay men in particular were very aggressively like getting rid of all of the body hair. It was like having sex with a dolphin or something.
Yeah.
Well,
you know
see,
what I
that's
mean?
me. I do not have any hair from the eyebrows down.
Did you laser it or what did you do?
A variety of things.
Dip yourself in
I
acid.
have a Middle European woman come, grab me by the hair, and just dip me in a vat of wax every morning.
You're
So
like
I
a candle.
I
You're a
glisten
Yankee
like
Doodle
a-
candle.
like-
62%.
So I glisten like a dolphin. I'm not opposed to it. Everybody's got to do their own thing.
Yeah. I like a balance to where the guy's not trying harder than I am. Because
Okay.
then the pressure's off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good rule to go by, yeah.
And it's not like I don't try. I'm not like, let me just let it all go. But you know.
No, when a guy's doing more like treatments than a Kardashian,
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Problem.
where do I fit into this puzzle?
100%. 100%.
All right, back on track real
Okay.
quick. Ryan, how are you killing it?
I'm killing it with being healthy. I haven't really booked any shows because we took a break and I
We did.
decided to take a whole break.
Mhm.
Like I was saying, just like not until the new year. Although I did do a show on
You
the
did.
29th. So I don't say no to all the shows, but it was literally walking distance from my house. So I said yes to it. Went really well.
It
You
did.
came. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And I've just been doing good, really good at being healthy and treating myself well. Like I'm sleeping really well. My house is clean for the first time in a long time. Losing weight, getting tan, organizing, like doing a lot of stuff that I was doing, but in a more lazy way with a
Sure.
more focused intention. And so I don't have a New Year's resolution to do anything because I started this before the New Year's, but it's my intentions are all in the right direction, and I feel like I've gotten them to a place where they feel like my habits, as opposed to the habits I'm trying to build.
Sure.
So that's what I'm killing it at.
Love it.
Having habits built.
Love it.
What about you? What are you killing it at? You have a lot of shows.
I do have I have three. So I will be doing the after school special at the Roost in Atwater Village on the 16th.
Fun.
I will be doing the 40th Think Tank Comedy Show at the Pike Bar on the 23rd. And on the 20th, I did that in the wrong order, I will be doing raw and organic comedy at Tao Comedy Studio.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll give
Yes.
our actual intro to our guest. No, she's here. This woman is lovely, hilarious, and so multi-talented, and we're going to get into all of it. She's an author. She was an on-air personality in a lot of different fashions. She's a hilarious comedian. There's not enough good things that I can say about this lady, and we're so happy that she drove down from Sherman Oaks to be here with us. Please give it up for Carla Collins! And
thank you. Lovely intro. I can't wait to disappoint everyone.
So, Carla, what's killing you?
Well, I think what was killing me is I got uncharacteristically just insanely sick over the holidays
no.
on Christmas Day. And just a few days before that, I stubbed and broke 2 toes.
Oh my god.
So that's why I'm not in heels, which is like Thor without a hammer.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
mean,
I
what
feel
are you
like
left
that's.
with? Great abs, of course, but nothing else. I don't have my power. No, but I just
They have the little like chicken cutlets for the butt. You
Yeah,
get
that's right. That's right. Which I need. Obviously, I used to just have a jockey hold my ass up. He ran away. I was just fostering him. So I always joke that like it's just so funny being sick in Los Angeles because if you cough or sneeze. Or you get like a guru appears virtually out of thin air and just tells you what to do. Like, are you taking echinacea and elderberry gummies and manuka and oil of oregano? It tastes like your nightmares, but it works. And then you've got nasal douche and like it goes on for everything. Well, not during a Mercury retrograde though. Take the crispy chest hairs of a wise elderly Greek man and the sperm of a centaur, and I'm like, no, bitch, NyQuil.
Yeah.
Like that's
oh,
the favorite
100%.
part about being sick is I don't know if there's like what's in there, propofol.
It's for sure heroin.
Oh my god!
It knock you out.
Because I'm
Wake up
like
all day.
I'm an insomniac, right, with ADHD,
Sure.
and I'm always nervous. Like so, I shake and I'm awake and I flake. So I thank you for the haiku. Yes. Yeah, that's the delicious part about.
Yeah.
So what was killing? I mean, I'm great now, but that's what was in most recent past, and the toes are now. I went back to working out.
Okay.
Because that was the thing I couldn't, and that's my. Mom
That's
needs
the
to
thing
work
that
out.
keeps
Like
you
that keeps me
regular.
out of prison. I
Yeah.
mean,
For
it's
sure.
like that's what I go for the high as well, and I work out almost every day. So it was just.
What did you do? Did you find ways? Because okay, one time I ruptured my Achilles tendon. I'm sure Sancho will love hearing about that again. But no, I ruptured my Achilles tendon, and I was trying to maintain my weight because I couldn't be mobile. Right? I had to keep my leg elevated like 12 hours of the day. And actually, once they told me I could like be a little bit on crutches, I would crutch to my development gym. For like the first 3 weeks, then I gave up and started eating cake. But how did you stick? I tried really hard to like stick with it, but having an open wound and not being able to walk was really hard. What did you do something else, or did you just say I'll just get to it when I can?
Not a lot, because usually if I don't do anything, I'll at least do yoga.
Yeah,
Like,
but you can't do that with your
flexible as
tendon.
my morals, as my joke goes. Now I just say it's flexible as George Santos' morals, but
Oh my
he's gone now. To be honest, I think because I was sick and the toes, that was probably one of the longer breaks I took. But wonderful to be back, and then I was doing Pilates, and I'm like, now I got a plank on one foot. Look at this, bitches. So I just taped it up, and it's I'm just back. So that's what was killing me.
That was killing you.
I'm not a good sick person because I have the patience of a toddler. And
do you live with someone?
No, just
okay,
me.
just you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, my brother's here visiting, but no, I don't.
I like being sick alone.
Oh, same here.
Yeah.
And people are like, can I help you?
No.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
Oh,
First
God.
of all, don't look at me.
Yeah, like I got my own ecosystem going right now.
Yeah.
There's lizards, and it was gross.
I want to have I want to be able to be gross. That's the biggest part. I want to be able to be gross.
Yeah.
I want to have like Cheetos here. I want to be buried under as many levels of blankets.
Cheetos just had an orgy on my stomach.
This is like
Orange workshop.
I can just find things. I'm like, gummy bears. I had those
disgusting.
gummies.
And you need to be disgusting.
And
That's
let
your
me
time.
do that. Let me have that. I always wonder, when you are sick, do you like to do it alone or
Oh
with
yeah,
Dave?
Dave and I, and COVID kind of helped because we didn't want to infect each other, so we got even better at like quarantining ourselves. But like the rule now is, if you're the sick person, you get the bedroom. Because we actually have a projector that turns the entire bedroom wall into like a movie screen.
Group. Yeah, your place is the tits, by the way.
Thank
I love
you.
it. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
fantastic.
I love it when
But yeah,
someone
so then
says
I just kind of like hole up like a little gremlin and text him orders of like, please bring me ice cream or smoothie or whatever. But like we try and keep our distance, so like he'll work on the couch. We usually still sleep together, but like majority of day is just like sick den, you know?
Yeah, I always seem to have a comfort show, whether it's grief or a cold, which is the only time. And this was Brooklyn Nine-Nine this time.
Oh, okay.
Well, and
Yeah.
time to
Chef's
watch it.
Kiss.
Yeah.
Chef's Kiss. Obviously, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is hilarious.
Didn't want his name to
Yes.
pass.
Andre Bauer.
I know, I'm so sad about it.
There's very few celebrity deaths because you don't know them.
Yeah.
People are like, posting things. I'm like, come on now.
That's always weird when they post
Yeah.
when they didn't. At least if I've worked with someone,
Well,
then I'll
That's
post.
different.
Yeah.
Because you actually know them in
Yeah.
real time.
Or
Yeah.
if they had like a really
Like
impactful...
Prince.
Yeah. everyone got a. You should be able to.
Yeah,
everybody can do Betty White too.
Yes,
I don't feel
I
guilty
agree.
about that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, in the shock.
I mean, for her, I'm sure she was ready to go, but also she was never going to die.
Is she immortal?
Yeah.
And that is cool.
By the way, she might be, and she might just like wait, and every 50 years, like a new Betty White reemerges because we're all
I
dead.
think that happens to all of us. Yeah, we don't know what simulation
Yeah.
we're in. Betty comes back as Mario.
I've been becoming more and more. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all of the kooky ones, the simulation theory is the one that makes the most sense to me, and I could believe it.
I don't think that's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think that's more of a spiritual.
Yeah.
That's
yes,
what a lot of.
I believe
I'm
it.
into all that.
Yes, I believe
It's
it
like
in
a
that
techno
way.
version of
It's a techno version
reincarnation.
of what I believe there to
Absolutely.
be happening in a celestial way.
These are our avatars.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So we
Return
split
to
this
the
one,
collective
and
conscious.
Exactly. You got
That was very
most of
bored.
the souls up there, and then a little part of us comes down, do what we do, and then who knows? I
A
don't know.
little
I
slap
like
and
to think.
tickle.
Well,
Yeah.
it can't just be this.
Yeah, I think there is some sort of that's my.
I mean,
way of thinking of the
simulation
universe.
is our words for it because
Yeah.
it's probably too sometimes
Too
there's
big.
nothing
too
we can-
heady,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So what are you killing it at? Do you have any shows coming up that we can see or any?
Ooh. And I still I went and infected everybody while I was sick. No, just once. No. I think I've been killing it at comedy. I'd say some comedy. I'm killing it as a podcast guest. That's going to be my answer. Like obviously, I have been podcast sledding around. No, the comedy is going really well. But I always think when just and the same thing you were talking about because I found the end of 2023 a little difficult, and I thought everybody I don't know what was going on.
Weird year.
But I'm like, all right, is everybody else going through Xanax like it's a tin of Altoids? Because I found people were that shit crazy. Like,
Yeah, me and my husband were so pissed because we have been crawling away out of abject poverty for our entire adult lives. We're finally to a place this year where we could have had our perfect holiday and our perfect everything. And we're both just sitting there this year feels fucked. That we don't feel the holiday. Nothing's happening. Obviously, I now know that we were about to get sabotaged in our business. But
so that's a delight.
Yeah.
There was I feel like 2023, the year of the dragon. No, gaslighter. A lot of times I'd be like, you asked me.
Yeah.
But it turns out no, thank you. And I'm like, I don't need to. What?
Yeah.
And really, I remember at one point saying, I think I'm crazy, and I was saying this a lot on stage, and people, stuff like, did you find it weird? I mean, I got yelled at in a meditation center.
Oh my
Joe,
god, that
that's
feels
right.
weird.
It was weird. It was very weird, and I'm like, okay, spiritual people. What? Why?
Yeah.
So there was a series of that, and so not unlike you, I just feel like I've had a really great mindset.
Mm.
I started sketching again. My
Okay.
first thing was to be a fine artist, but
Nice.
I could never.
You have the hands for that? I that's something I could never do. I really have. I have terrible hand. I'm all of the arts. I can sing and act and do all that stuff. Anything physical, but anything like that. I'm
fine
always
motor
yeah,
skills?
fine motor skills. I couldn't be a surgeon. I'd be like.
Well, I wouldn't want. No one would want me to operate on it. But I found it therapeutic.
Yeah, I used to actually be a professional scenic painter and mural artist.
Wow.
Yeah, me and my mom's an
You're
artist,
legit.
so I grew up with. I was her slave labor from the time I could hold a paintbrush on, and so she actually did.
She preferred a protege.
Yeah.
Or intern.
Apprentice.
Yeah,
Apprentice is doing cute artistic projects. When you're the corporate artist for the Melting Pot restaurant, I'm painting half of them and she's putting her name on it. That's
Yes,
slave labor.
that's a whole other thing.
I mean, but
More of a commune, really.
Up until the 1800s or early mid 1900s, that's why people had kids anyway.
It's true.
They were just
yeah.
it wasn't to have a football team; it was to have farmers.
Exactly. So yeah, I feel like I've been killing it more with a way better mindset.
That's great.
Yeah, and
and
healthy again. So.
Good. Well, and it's good to get the sickness out of the way where it was.
Exactly. And it was a good time because it was at least the holidays. So I
Everything's shut
missed
down.
a lot of great things that I was looking forward to. But on the other hand, if you're going to go down at any time.
Well, especially when you're an entertainer. It's another. Randomly, it's also one of the reasons I like that I'm from here. Is there's always gigs that pop up around the holidays, and you're the only one who's still in town.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I booked gigs on the 26th and the 27th.
Mhm.
A New Year's show on the 30th. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna
Well, I
complain.
mean, even from the acting standpoint,
Yeah.
because I didn't leave during COVID, that was one of my most profitable years.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. Oh yeah, no, it worked in a lot of different. You had to pivot. You had to work it, right? You had to work it like an old whore at a half price sale. And
I
if you
always
could,
imagine that couch.
I know.
Pivot!
As you can tell, I was sick. I just make a series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Friends
References. Hey.
Probably a couple of Shark Tank. I don't know. What do you got?
You know, my first spec script I ever wrote was a crossover episode between Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Law & Order SVU.
Oh my God.
I just wrote a script for not a script, but a pitch for a company in Canada because they liked two of my ideas, and the one was I called it "Funny Seeing You Here," and it's combining comedy and true crime.
Love it. Love it.
You guys talk.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just like, well, because everybody's had a disastrous criminal show. I just think reenacting it like poorly would be hilarious.
Oh, I would do that. I would be a sketch actor.
I would play
in
Ryan
it.
like, oh, hello. Because if you didn't have the footage, you
Hi.
Hi, I've been working out on the beach.
Yes.
Don't make better.
It's just like a lopsided wig.
Yeah.
So
Mustache like here.
yeah, I like combining two things that people
That's
are
fun.
just what.
Yeah, I love that idea.
So
what is your let's go because you have multiple origin stories. Oh, do we have to ask?
No, you're good.
what are we doing? Do we have a
Okay.
sponsor? What's happening?
We have multiple. You have multiple origin stories. So if you maybe want to give us a brief overview of where you started and then when you got into comedy, or how would you like? We usually just ask people how they got into comedy, but you've done a bunch of stuff. So where would you like to start?
I could do the first comedy and then the re-entry.
Okay,
That's
let's
hard
do that.
to do.
That's
Would that
perfect.
be-
Yes, we love that.
Oh god. Okay, so was a dancer, not a stripper, which is LA's the only place I have to keep
He
saying
was
that.
Same. I was a professional dancer. And they were like, "Where'd you strip?" And I was like, "Thank you for thinking my body is good enough to strip,
I
but
know.
no, on television."
Hello, my student loans are paid off. So
Yeah.
like since I think my parents put me to dance. I'm sorry, my stomach is growling like crazy. So I
It's
just
okay.
I feel like your cameras are picking up.
No,
It's like
it's
me doing
okay.
every voiceover gig. It's like so I started dancing like at 2.5.
Okay.
You know, the ballet tap.
Were you
jazz,
mostly
hip-hop.
mostly
Yeah.
ballet, or
It was. I hated it. I loved tap, but
Me
I did
too.
ballet
You have a ballet
twice a
body.
week because they were like, "That's what you need." And I was like, "Oh, I hate like anything stiff."
Structured.
Oh, just a nightmare. But very happy because I think I was this height in the womb, and so I've always walked around like a
just
newborn
picturing
giraffe. So
them just pulling you out like one of those scarves,
for
just a
reference,
magician.
just a noodle.
For
Yeah.
reference on audio, I come up to her belly button.
Yeah.
So.
She's roughly 7 feet
It's
tall.
a lot of it is heels and hair, but still, so it was good because I think it gave me some coordination, and I love that. But I did a speech on humor like in grade 6.
Okay.
I know you're both like, we didn't say this part.
No, we love this.
In
My
my
first
past
thing was
life, I
7th
was
grade.
Groucho Marx.
I started when I was 3, so you're fine.
I was 7th grade. I did a sketch show in 7th grade. That was my start.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so did lots of acting, but I just remember doing the speech on humor because I loved it so much, and I have a really funny family, and I loved the Three Stooges to Oscar Wilde, like. So then I was. When I went to university, though, I'm like, listen, I don't want to be a starving waitress. Cut to today. No, so I did an honors in languages, and was lucky at the university in Canada. There was an exchange to France,
Ooh.
and to be honest, it was the only tall guy there. This is like it's like a stupid way I got to this radio station. And I was like, I've always wanted to be on radio. Never. Just said that.
I would say that too.
Because
I thought there was a job.
Olivier was over 6 feet, and I had everybody else I could just use as a loofah. They're tiny men in France,
Yeah.
and
They're my people, literally.
right. So I'm French, so I can make the joke, but half. Thank God the other half isn't German. Just spend all day invading myself. Bad jokes that I'm gonna work at. So I did this radio show in France, Les Heures Chaudes avec Carla. Of course, because I don't have a French name. My mom is the French one. And I was like, well, this is a cool combo. So graduated from my degree and then went into radio.
Okay.
So my first job was TV Canada's Weather Network. And bitches, I thought I had made it. I'm like, I don't know if you know, but I'm on the Weather Network.
I would have
Right.
been the same way.
They're just like, I'm
The
just okay.
systems are coming this way.
I have an
Yes.
even smaller first win. I booked my first ever commercial audition for Doritos. I was in the commercial for all of 2 seconds, but I was like the principal lead, and I thought I
think that's way cooler than the one that went to. I would love to have been in a Doritos commercial.
I made it was in high school. I was on a Nickelodeon television pilot for a teen talk show where I played a date rape victim.
Okay, first of all, that's my dream gig. That one got me aroused slightly. You bitches aren't even in my category. Those are both legit cool things. I was on Canada's Weather Network. Did I preface that? Do you know that? We were broadcasting out of Montreal, but no one saw the English version from Montreal. So I'm like ghost broadcasting, and then it landed in Toronto. And people are like, "Oh, it's the chick from the Weather." And I'm like, "People are watching this." And it was that early days of it. So one time, and it was 5-minute segments, and it was just the giant letters fog. So me next to the letter F, which just looked like a filthy episode of Sesame Street. And instead of walking out of frame, I ad-libbed for 5. And I remember that was, so I remember my boss saying, maybe you should try stand-up, like, stop doing all this stuff on my
on air. That's one of our questions. I was gonna be like,
yeah. So and I did, and you know, Montreal's a big hub just for laughs. I started in comedy because literally a club owner heard me making my friends laugh, and I right away got just for laughs. And I'm a kid, and it went well, and I did not have a thick enough skin for it because I did a big show with Ray Romano, and you know, you're a redneck. If Jeff Foxworthy, and I was the host, and we got a standing ovation. And in the paper, it's back when there was a paper, kids. It was just
a paper is.
Yeah. USA Today. Google it. And it was me with a microphone, and then you know, and it said, you know, something like Bambi does comedy, and finish me because I did, and I remember my parents, and I said no. I'm out. Like I was like, I have a radio and a TV job, and I don't need this bullshit. Right. And I was also had a huge nerve problem. Like I couldn't eat for a week almost before. That's obviously an exaggeration, but a couple days leading up to a show, and I'm like, this is optional.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this. So then I left it and had a wonderful career in Canada and did all kinds of like everything you do, TV, acting, blah, blah, blah. And then about 10, 12 years ago, I was like, okay, I don't care what people think of me. And I could get up now and do 45 minutes at a garage sale. Like, it just also enough things happen in your life. I'm like, no, my mom dying was horrible. Comedy's not that tough. And
we both took big breaks. I took a break when I ruptured my Achilles. I was working as a stand-up. I was traveling, and I was working as a casting producer. And when I hurt myself, I lost all of those jobs. Yeah. And when I was finally better, it took like 9 months to get better. I had spent all of my savings because we don't have universal health care here in the United States. No. At the time, we did not.
She understood.
Yeah. And so I went back to college and went into advertising. I write copy now. That's my day job.
That's fantastic.
But I'm also now back in stand-up, which is my initial love. And she took a break because she became a sommelier. So that's a big part of the reason. Yeah. So she's done a lot of really cool things, and she runs a psychology practice. But it's I think that it's always, for us, one of the bigger things and why we wanted to do this podcast, especially with people who've taken breaks or who've had different kinds of careers, is that it happens at the time that it's supposed to happen, when you're ready for it to happen, and when you really want it to happen. Because if at that time, I could have maybe gone back to it, but I always wanted to finish my degree, and I always wanted to be a legit... I mean, I was already a published author when I but I've made a bunch of commercials that I've written, that I'm not just in, that I've written. So it's like, I've gotten to do different aspects of, when I first started in entertainment, I was this really thin for me, but like really in shape, young, blonde. I know I was blonde at the time. You're always like, I've never seen you blonde. I'm like, because it was fake, bitch. Get over it. She's like, you're not a blonde. You're not a blonde.
Because mine is obviously natural.
Super real. But I'm just saying, I was treated as in the way that you were called Bambi. That's kind of how I was treated in castings. Like I was like a body, or I was a face, or they wanted me to always play a football player. And at the time, it just never felt right for me. So when I stepped away from comedy and everything, it felt right to step away. But now it feels better being back because I'm not trivialized in any of those ways, and I don't care what anybody thinks. And back then, all I could do was care about what other people think.
I think generally you really need to love comedy because it's not exactly glamorous.
And say,
Well, what I will say about both of you, because I've seen you perform a million times, I've seen you perform as delightful, is both of you exude great confidence when you get on stage. And that makes it enjoyable.
Oh,
Like it's
see.
like bought in right away because it's not like what's gonna happen. It's like this person's got me. We're going on a journey now. You know.
You are very commanding. I wonder, do you think that came from on air, or do you think that came just naturally?
Yeah, I don't know because I don't feel like I you know.
I
and
didn't say it. When she said that, I
but
laughed.
I think probably experience and again loving it, and also because I had like the nerve problem was also not recent, but let's say 10 years ago or so. I was thinking about this the other day. There's a great producer in Canada, Jeffrey Latimer. He runs the Walk of Fame, and he ran a couple of oh my God, theaters. So I was doing a one-person show, and I was like a wreck before. And he was noticing, and he said, you have to. He said, Carla, you got, and of course, acting, TV, radio. I can't wait to do it. Stand-up was that thing that was
the
different.
last thing.
It was really like I still had huge nerves, and he said, people are coming in, they want to escape. You got to be a host and make them feel comfortable. And something switched for me. Like as a host, I could do because I had done a lot of, and also I wanted people to be relaxed. And of course, you want to let everybody know, like you were saying, Sarah, like that you have the keys to the car. So I probably
Safety.
went,
Safe.
so like feel safe, so that they can enjoy it. And I know my brother gets like sometimes because we feel bad. I mean, we all went through this year when the Fire Festival came alive as the Golden Globes.
I was gonna say you don't. Yeah, I was like that's like true
I know.
because
I couldn't watch it.
I didn't watch
again,
it.
I'm not a mean girl. I don't want someone to. I was like, oh God, I'm Christian. I can't do this.
Yeah, I felt bad for him, but I didn't watch.
But you also don't yell at people, and people shouldn't hire people that have never hosted.
No, hosting's a very different.
It's a different. People don't get that because I started in hosting
know.
before I hosted a dance show. Before I got into stand up proper, I kind of got pushed into stand up. Kind of like you were saw by that one guy, and he was like, "Oh, you're making your friends laugh, do stand up," or your boss at the Weather Channel like got pushed into it. And I think that hosting and stand up are different, but there are elements of each that can serve the other. Like I think everyone who does stand up should host.
Yeah. So maybe it's that. But yay. So I was like, what delightful.
But welcome back. We like you here.
So I do have some questions about the whole on-air thing. So, when you were a broadcaster, would you call yourself? Is that what you would call yourself, a broadcaster? So, when you went from the Weather Channel, did you anchor? Or
I did all kinds of things. I was like the host of sort of Canada's Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, fun. Okay, so what was your? Okay, I have a couple of like deep cut. No, because like on the like the chat shows or the clip shows, they'll like often John Oliver's famous for this. He'll clip in like little like banter segments from different like small market news stations. Do you have a memory of like your worst or best banter with a co-host, or your like funniest interaction when you were doing essentially Entertainment Tonight?
Well, yeah, I have like I loved the banter. I lived for the banter. I loathed the teleprompter. As my soul was leaving my ass because I could not wear my hair like this. I wore it was straight, and I was in suits, which I never owned. I'm like,
really?
I'm Carla Collins, and my co-host was, and I'm Dan Duran, and I'm like, mine's my actual name, and I love it. He knows that. And I remember, he'd have to do the camera turn tonight on Channel O, and so this is in Toronto, and
I love that.
So as much as I'm grateful for it, and it was wonderful, like really, I yay for those times again.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do comedy, and the network, well, you don't look like a comedian or whatever. They just were. So for me, the banter was the best part. But I was often like banned from the.
I was gonna say because
it's in trouble because it was so conservative and vanilla. And
did you ever slip in a fuck by accident?
No. I think because I did radio from such a young age that I even on
did
podcasts I wait to see like. I'm very
yes.
conscious that there's a microphone, you don't swear.
Okay. Did you guys have a 5-second delay? I probably wouldn't do anything if it didn't have a 5-second delay. Just in case.
I'm sure we did, but it was just more like...
You knew.
There was this grumpy big guy who had been the anchor forever, Tom Gibney, but we had a great rapport, and I call him the Gibbinator, and his kids were like, oh, our dad loved you because... And so there were there would be the female anchor, Christine, Tom, myself, and the weather guy. And one time there was something about a dike broke or something. Everybody was laughing, and I didn't do anything. Just like I know it was like 'cause I would if everybody would crack up, and sometimes the host, she was wearing this outfit, and I was just like, Tom, Sergeant Pepper, and that was too much. Like the stuff that they're like, Carla, although the Loin King seems like a funny joke in the moment, I'm like, it's a wordplay, so constantly in trouble.
You were getting notes.
And so sometimes they put me and they're like, let's go out to the Orange Grove. It's Canada. They'd have me in a field somewhere just so I couldn't have a rapport. So
I feel like that would happen to me too.
That was my favorite part. And because I also did this simultaneously with morning radio, and I was the first chick to host a major morning market.
And they let you go a little bit more crazy. I don't know what Canada's
yes.
a little bit more crazy.
I still don't like it.
I have like strategically crafted, because I've been performing since I was 3, and then I majored in theater, and I ran a theater in Chicago, and I've worked in bars forever. I've strategically crafted my adult life to never have to wake up before 9:30. I'm not to do any meetings until after 11.
No. But I work out at night.
Yeah, my neighbor is my landlord, and she's always like, I have people coming. I go, Carol, you're early stuff in the night early. Let me know what's actually happening, because I need to reschedule my entire life.
Yeah. No.
When I get healthy, my whole clock changes. I still stay up late, but late for normal people, not late for me. So I go to bed at midnight, but I wake up at 5:30.
Nope.
I do 5.5 to 6 hours, but I like to work out in the morning because I feel like I'll give myself excuses if I don't do it first thing, and then I get my endorphins.
I do it first thing at 10 o'clock, and it's beautiful.
But I mean, I never used to be this way, but it's weird. When I give up certain things and I am working out all the time, I become this weird morning / barely sleeping person, which you would think is bad, but for some reason I have the kind of energy or something that 6 hours is more than enough for me.
Well, Huberman just said 6 is better than 8. That guy has the big podcast, so I think it's so different for everyone. It's
very individualistic.
It can't be just one size fits all. That it's great in the morning or great at night. I think it's great when it's great for you. Know your own system and then have at it. I don't know.
So when you decided to leave to come to the States, was there something that happened personally, or did you just say I want to be in a bigger market, or what was your decision?
I really was blessed and still go work in Canada, of course, but I had just done everything I really could have. Magazine, radio, I would.
You reached the upper limit of Canada.
I'd been on, did acting, so I was spotted at Just for Laughs by someone, but see, I hadn't really done stand-up. What I would do is I would just make jokes about the bad soap opera I was on in Canada or something. I hosted a lot.
Oh. You're more like a celebrity chat, like when Jay and Silent Bob come to Flappers.
Exactly. It was, and I would just make jokes about her, and I'm just like, oh, the chick from Entertainment Tonight, I'm sure you're all going to think it's a hoot. Wait till you hear what she has to say. Backstreet Boys are back. Then really kind of to craft that, and I moved here and we did a reality show.
Okay.
Called Carla Wood. I did not name it. It was supposed to be California, but that didn't pass the legal.
That's what I came up first. And I usually like to jam in wood anywhere.
Right?
Hey-o!
I know, and all the crew was like, I woke up with some Carla Wood. I'm like, I didn't name it. I'm very good at wordplay, and that was just killing my rep, my street credit.
I don't like it because if you've done any advertising writing, there's a lot of work.
I want to talk to you about that because I want to.
For sure.
That's all I ever do. I'm like, I really should be moving it into that. Yeah. That's every pitch is just why am I just not doing this for a profession? Right. I love copy and wordplay.
Yeah, there's a lot of wordplay in it, and you have to make sure that it works, but bad wordplay does get on my nerves too. It makes my skin, or when someone thinks it's rhyming but it doesn't rhyme, it's a fake, it's a near there rhyme.
And dine. It's no, that's not a rhyme.
Yeah. You're when they rhyme the same word with the same word, it's so. I'm just like. Ah.
I think that's my the philosophy for copywriting, comedy, dating. Whenever you try too hard, it's disastrous.
100%. That's exactly true.
Whenever you're too precious, it's same with spirituality. Mm-hmm. So just don't because then it just I don't know. I think that's a killer.
No, I think that
that's what's killing.
There's sort of a zen to that. There has to be a certain amount of letting go, of control. even we were talking about on stage, both you and I like to go off book, which can be for a lot of comedians death and scary. For me, it's usually when I have the best sets, when I just say, these are the topics I'm going to talk about, here are some things that are important in each of those topics, and then the rest of it, it's coming out. You know, I mean, I come up with a lot of my stand-up material when I'm talking to myself in the car.
Although he and I write together now.
Oh, so I like writing part. Yeah,
but I was surprised how much you actually write down because of how riffy it comes out.
Oh, but I try to maintain that because I always want people to think that I'm kind of just shooting the shit with them.
I know. It's just
nice,
impressive.
yeah.
It's kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But like I expected you to be even more just like random chicken scratch than me when we first met.
Oh
you guys,
yeah, I'm like surprisingly anal. Like when it comes to I know a gay guy that's anal. Hey, no.
What a unicorn!
None of us are surprised you're anal, darling.
Speaking of bad wordplays, Ryan's anal. My notebook looks like the rantings of a serial killer.
Well, but I have that. I have
just
stages.
like really. Sometimes it's just some weird. Like my brother was like, "What is this?" Like,
don't let anyone read
people might think it's a
notebooks.
quote. Oh, thank God my writing is worse than any doctor's because I don't think
They
people
can't
can
tell.
make it out. Because otherwise, I'll be locked up.
But I have steps in my process, and I do end up taking. The reason what you see is I've written it out. I usually actually talked it out and recorded it in my voice. Then I've written it out and with a pen, and then I type it up.
That makes sense.
So you end up getting the
I'm in the
milk
middle.
filtered. Yeah, you get the filtered version of it.
You put a lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean it's my favorite thing to do is just talk to myself, and I'm sure everyone driving next to me thinks I'm nuts, but
Not in LA. I think you're on your Bluetooth or
That's true.
Your Genius. I think it's now.
As long as you don't look like you're gonna like punch the side window, you're good.
So you came out here in 2005 just because you'd done everything.
Going back and forth, yeah.
Going back and forth, and you still go out now.
Totally. For towards like the middle aughts for the reality show, and then
Okay, and so you've also written a couple of books, but I want to talk first just specifically because it's kind of come up in our conversations. You do something that's really unique in my mind, where you do comedy and you mix it with meditation.
That's my little baby.
Yeah, no, and I really love this idea because I use comedy in the writing of it and the doing it as a therapy and a form of self-care, but I haven't seen it in a way where the self-care is for the self-care is the audience getting to laugh to me, but you have added the step of actually giving them some meditative process. So tell me where that came from. Why did you decide to mix the two, and what do you think the intersections are?
Well, I can tell you, and there's even some hashtag science behind it.
Oh, fantastic. We want to hear that too. I'm a nerd.
I'm really combining my two loves.
Okay.
I mean, as much as I'll make spiritual jokes, that's been a big part of me, meditated for a long time. And I think it's just really important now. I started this just towards the end of 2019, so took that bitch online. But my friend was working at like a healing center with a chiropractor and yada yada, a wellness center, I guess. And somebody didn't show up. The breath guy didn't show up. And I said, I've always wanted. I said, I write my own meditations. Here's why. Because I cannot stand the meditations online.
The only one I like is Tara Brock.
Yeah, well, then send me her info.
I will.
Because there's a British dude who's really condescending. There's a chick whose accent I assume is fake. And I remember the one time I was really lost. I'm like, I found somebody I like, and she said, now take a deep exhale through your vagina. And I was just like, I'm sorry, can it breathe? Because where would I find an N95 mask so tiny?
A queef is
because that's just toy.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
toy.
I've kept this shit toy. So I said, I've always wanted, and I was going to open for the breath guy.
Okay.
It was the whole point. So I thought, what if I do comedy and get everybody relaxed, and then go into an original guided meditation, but a legit one. Like, it's not a parody one where I'm like, hey, this dude I know.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants that while you're trying to relax. And so both laughing and meditation produces the same brain state.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Because I'm so...
you're letting go.
Well, first of all, when you're laughing, like, I'm very ADHD and I'm very hyper, obviously. I'm always shaking like a chihuahua on meth. So I found it very hard. I did moving meditation a lot more, like beach walks.
I like the walks.
Right?
Those are, especially when you can get
delicious.
the rhythm of it. And in the sand, the wet sand. Ooh. Whew.
Oh well, nothing. That's why LA is. That's what seduces us. Or with yoga, but I found or after I exercise, because I think if you exhaust yourself a bit, one of a few things is going on. You're releasing endorphins. It tires you out, or people are hearing about my life and thinking, my life is fun.
Comparatively,
I think I can really sit back and relax. And then they both produce a gamma state. So people were going right out, like people who couldn't sleep were going out, and
really?
And then I don't know, NBC came like almost the next week and did a great piece on it.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I had no idea now moving forward that it was a bit like inviting the Bloods and the Crips to brunch like Gwyneth Paltrow's. Because the comedian's like, I don't want to fucking do meditation after this, and the spiritual people are giving me like, what is this? This is a sacred space. I'm like,
it's not a joke.
No, you're in a strip mall next to a bar, and I'm making people laugh. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody relax, right? So, and it's kind of like a drug dealer. If people try once, then they just love it.
I
And then
want
I
to do
kind
it.
of did this whole laugh of attraction umbrella where I do like fun, like because mantras. People can do mantras all day long. But they don't do anything if you don't have it. And sometimes, if you've got stage 4 shingles and you're living in your mom's basement and you're 100G in debt, it's hard to say, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. No, I'm in love. So I started writing like these merry mantras where I'm like, I'm so rich, I'm wearing Fruit of the Illuminati underwear. And people would laugh and it breaks through. Like, just laughter's just such a great thing to get to your subconscious because it brings you to the moment.
Well, I think
all this to say,
that's
because
great.
both are in the moment, I guess. So,
I love that.
So I did a whole bunch of different branches to it. Like, I want to do a podcast with like someone from the comedy world and someone from the spiritual world and just have at it. So
I love it, and your science is actually absolutely correct. Like me and my husband do own a psychology practice, and we do advanced study group with all of our therapists because we feel people, especially in the field of mental health, should never stop learning or growing because that's kind of the whole fucking point.
Yeah,
and so we do it with them, and like even though I'm not a therapist, I've done this now for 5 years, so I'm like the most knowledgeable not therapist that there is in Long Beach. But we did 6 months on mindfulness. And it was hilarious because every therapist pays lip service to mindfulness and meditation, but they don't actually do it. They can't ever find the time. They don't understand it, or they sell it's supposed to be relaxing, and it's not always.
No, some people find it very stressful.
Like,
who
the
wants
whole
to be alone
point-
with their demons? Like,
But being able to do that and survive it is very healing.
yes.
And so then me and my husband were like, well, we can't ask people to really take this journey with us if we're not doing it ourselves. So we do like 20-30 minutes in the morning, and now we've been doing 20-30 minutes right before sleep, and I wear Whoop, which is like a biofeedback thing, and it's bananas because I actually have the science. Like, I am a very active dreamer, and it's usually stress and nightmares, and like it used to be like where it looked like I was running a fucking marathon in my sleep.
Wow.
And now if I meditate, it's like flatline for like 6 hours, and I wake up like...
It is so transformational. So I want the big reason I also started it was to take the preciousness out, as you guys said, and the woo-woo.
Yeah,
because again, everybody's a guru, and it's like you're meditating wrong. It's just breathing. You're not meditating. Or the people, this is where my yoga mat goes in the gym. I'm sorry, is it a time?
Right.
Oh, this was your property? So it's
I like it also when people try to tell other people how they should do meditation.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're already doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not just the trying to tell someone else how they should relax or how they should connect with a higher power. It's sort of like, if that's what you're focused on here, when you're supposed to be taking care of yourself, then you're already missing the point. To me, I think that you should go in and yes, respect the teachers and do that whole thing, but don't be like, oh, well, you have to sit like this.
Well,
I'm like, what? Some people have back problems. Maybe they should lay down.
Exactly.
It's like,
you want to take the intimidation out.
Yeah.
So many people said, I don't want to go because that guy yelled at me because I was meditating wrong, and that just did. So this is just the lube, and also to get more. And so oddly, like the last target market I thought would be young straight guys.
oh.
Because in Canada, I'm a bit of a gay icon. Like people legit
I would
realize
imagine.
me for Halloween.
She's a gay icon
like
here
her
too
now.
yet. She just doesn't know yet.
she's got fabulous hair and glitter.
I know. I'm trying to make it happen here. I'm just slowly becoming. But so I'm like, it'll be that and women, and then it was just all these young, which I have no problem with, of course, being an emotional support cougar. Come in, and I was like, well, this is an odd people come into my Chuckle and Chill sessions because they want this
Chuckle and chill.
Okay.
part of their life. Yeah, I know that's. I even took meditation out because it was
Love
just
it.
too
That's
scary for
smart.
everybody.
Maybe
And-
young guys think chill is like Netflix and chill.
Wow, and that's what my brother's like. Are you sure Chuckle and Chill sounds like Netflix and Chill? I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. This
Trickle
what
down
goes
every day.
together.
Yeah.
Get 'em
So roar and relax. I don't know. I was looking for, but because they really want, and again, younger and younger people is much more a part of their life,
Yeah.
right? It's not, and so. And people who've done transcendental TM said, yeah, I would like, it's just the lube to get you into that and to bring that to be part of your life so that it's not some kind of weird woo-woo new age thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that's
not
snooty.
unattainable. Yeah, and it's also not
Exactly,
unattainable.
unattainable.
I think a lot of people cling to the preciousness of certain things like that because it makes them feel like it's some sort of status symbol. Like if they've gone to a silent retreat for 7 days or
Yeah.
whatever, or they paid
I'm
hundreds
more
of thousands.
spiritual than you.
Yeah, because I spent
Get your
$100,000.
spiritual dick back in your
Yeah,
pants.
exactly. I'm like, wow. I'm sure it's 8 inches.
I sage my spiritual dick.
Yeah. Are you teaching those regularly, or are you?
Yeah, I do one-on-ones or couples. I know that sounds like sometimes I'll just do. I will like over.
Well, just after the Chuckle and Chill, I was like,
know.
are people laughing before or after the couples?
Well, like again, I moved it online, and not, obviously free if you're not in the city. So we'll just do a one-on-one, and that's daunting. But you can make someone laugh, and sometimes sometimes it's just a conversation where it loosens them up, and they were laughing a little bit more organically, not like a hardcore 30-minute set.
Right.
All right, anybody here from out of town? Just one person, and then it was
Just
like
Tight and snarling.
exactly.
We should get a group of comedians together and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Like Christian and me and you and a couple other people make
I
us
love
come do
that.
it. That'd be fun.
yeah,
And it's community building,
Yes.
which is one of your things.
It is.
So all the 2024
Yeah.
resolutions
Yeah.
are coming
Yeah.
in because
I'm gonna force everyone. I'm such a once I'm doing something, I'm like,
So you're gonna tell me how to sit on my fucking yoga mat?
yeah, I'm not going to.
Punch you in the face.
I'm here for all of this.
Us fighting is a big part of the podcast.
Why am I aroused? That's the weird part. I kind of fall in love with both of you. I don't know, but continue. So yes, I would love to do this.
Yeah, no, we should do that. And the Long Beach comedians need it. They
Yes.
need to unclench, for
Yes.
sure. Well,
Orange
I'll have to
County
talk to you
even
about
worse.
that. Yes. So, okay, Selfish, you also wrote a book. You wrote 2 books? 2
Yes,
books.
the next one comes out this year.
Yay! What's it called? What's the new one coming out?
The new one is called The Wawa Way, and it's a love letter to my dogs.
Okay.
The last of 3 passed away.
Aw.
So it's it's a children's book is the
Okay.
premise, but it's really for adults.
Okay.
I mean, I say like just like Le Petit Prince, like the Little Prince, but
Mm.
nowhere near François Xavier's
Right.
level.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like a bit of a self-help, but it tells the story of the 3 dogs.
Oh.
And of Dr. Zira, that was the Chihuahua, who obviously I know who was the 10-pound Chihuahua who was holding my life together.
No,
So,
sorry.
so it's an homage to them.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the first book was Angels, Vampires, and Douchebags, that I think was the first comedic
Amazing.
self-help book. So it's always
That's what I wanted
kind
to
of
do.
like these
Yeah.
2 things
Yeah.
together.
I enjoy that. I endeavored, because I'm the reason I asked this question is purely selfish. No, because I'm writing a book. Mine's a series. I'm doing a series of comedic essays, kind of like a lot of comedians do at one point or another. But mine is sort of about, it also weaves in the ideas of self-acceptance, because I think that a lot of things that push me, like, because I talk about how when I first came to Hollywood, they told me to go back in the closet. And like they sent me to vocal lessons, and they were like, my mannerisms are too gay, or the timbre of your voice. Like, I literally learned how to talk straight. Like, it was.
I like there was almost a Texan accent
Uh-huh.
when you did that too.
Talk straight.
Talk like a racist.
Yo,
No,
you gotta talk straight.
Yikes. It's
So, but I
humans are
mean,
embarrassing at times.
yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
and the fact that it happened in like the early to mid 2000s, like I'm not
Did it
80,000.
really?
Yeah, like I'm not that old. I mean, I'm older than I was, but I was.
No, but that is shocking. It really
yeah.
is.
And I mean,
It's
big
unacceptable.
agents and big, very very popular and famous acting coaches.
Mhm.
So. It's like I'm trying to weave that in with also comedic stories, but
Mhm.
how did you find that process? Like for me right now, I'm doing just like what I would call brain dumps. So they'll all have to go and be edited, but I'm just literally parsing out every detail of the story, and then I'm going to go back and feel like what's important and salient to keep. But unlike a stand-up bit where you're trying to get from point A to point laugh as quickly as possible, with a book and long narrative form, I feel like you're trying to really tell the story in kind of exquisite detail. What was your process in writing the self-help meets comedy book?
It didn't take that long. I think I had been, probably marinating on it, and it was also autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would just say, here's a premise, and then here's a story from my life. So,
Okay.
I went that way.
Okay.
And the Wawa way, and it's with the animators now. So that's why I don't know the exact time it will come up, because it's like a lot of animation.
Mm-hmm.
That was more difficult because I was really in deep grief.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I really wanted to tell the story, so it's also, there's the death of 2 dogs in there, and I was like, yikes, is this a bit much? But I heard from a friend that Henry Winkler has a series of children's books that covers like cancer and there has to be the tougher subject. So that was a little bit more emotionally wrenching to write, even though it was a shorter, more children's book. That was, I'm like, why am I doing, as I say often in my life, why did I
this?
I'm so happy that I did.
Yeah.
But so and my process is like you guys, like I still like to old school write it out first, and then I'll organize it on the computer. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
But I think there's something about the tangential nature.
Yes.
Like it's really tangible. Like you're not tangential, tangible. Like you can feel the pen. Like there's actual markings. This is
it does the same thing as doodling too. Like I think it connects to deeper parts of yourself.
It's science, right? Like that's the psychology, because there's something about the brain and when you write it down.
Yeah. Which I feel bad for the younger generations because they don't
know it at all.
I know.
So can I ask you one question about that? Just the book before we move on to other topics. Do you feel like because it was so? Because a lot of people would say, like, I think Shakespeare is quoted as like time plus tragedy equals comedy. But it sounds like it was better for you to write this book in your grief than to wait. Do you think it changed the way the book came out? Because a lot of people would wait. I know that my sister's fought cancer twice. And her story is very inspiring. And I've told her as a writer by trade that I'm like, I would love to write, your story whenever you're ready to tell it. And, but I wonder if, and she's going to need the time, but do you think it was better that you wrote it when you were feeling all of those feelings? Or do you, I don't know, if you had your druthers, would you do it a different way? Or
I think it was probably better in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I took breaks, and I mean, because I'm just like, and again, just like the cutaway of me just crying and typing. Sure. Just crying and typing. Which that one I
could be funny in a certain context.
Yeah, it is. Well, and again, I mean, I was just like, okay, this is the dogs, and I'm like, all right, let's talk about Buster. And so I think for me, it really, because I wanted to get it out. There was something like before another dog, before anything, I wanted to get this story out. So there, at one point, there was just. I think is again probably different for everyone. I thought it was helpful with my grief process. I'm a big fan. I mean, it's. Like there's some funny things, but I'm also a big fan of dark humor. I think you shine a little light on anything that's torturing you, and it helps.
I agree. So I think it's a great catharsis.
I always say writing is great in grief. Performing always is a mixed bag. So like if you're not comfortable enough to present it and let it get attacked, don't do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It can be also very therapeutic, and sometimes when my mom passed away, that was my only safe space.
Comedy. For me, it's anything I don't know about, like, specifically sad things, but dark things and quote-unquote shameful things are what I always...
I mean, that's comedy.
Well, yeah. Because, first of all, I've learned that comedy is a fantastic way for me to alleviate myself of shame. There's a lot of stuff that I talk about that truly happened to me, and I think a lot of people think I'm making it up. She knows I'm not.
I know you're not.
She knows I'm not.
You got a fact checker here.
I've got stories.
I just watch my face during
She'll just be like, yeah, I was there.
I can't wait to see you guys on stage now that I have all the inside intel.
But I tell a lot of stories that people would be like, I could never talk about that on stage. Drug stories, drinking stories that are bad hookup stories, whatever. And for me, it pulls a lot of the potential shame out of it. I think I've inured myself to shame for the most part because I'm a comedian and I don't really care. But I was talking to her a few weeks ago, and I said the only way that someone can shame you is if you feel ashamed.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel ashamed, then no one can shame you. You can't body shame me if I love my body.
And
You
you're
can't
owning
slut
it.
shame me if I don't think that it's slutty to have a threesome. You know, and that's not my lowest number.
It's sexy. I'd be so disappointed if it was.
Just 3?
I was thinking 8 enough.
Yeah.
I think it's like
Apart
5.
from
I don't do the train. I'm not Amtrak, bitch. Jesus.
No, I think it is a way to own it, and I always think all the best comedy comes from an honest place, like comes from some truth, whether you're exaggerating it, whether it's just a little grain, or just sometimes I'm like, by the way, that last part, straight documentary.
Yeah.
That was a docu series that could go right to Netflix because, pardon me, because sometimes it just happens in that way.
Yeah.
And then it of course gets embellished like any good storytelling.
Yes.
Like by the end, I was banging a ghost.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I like
But
any
really-
story that ends that way.
obviously he was just a really old guy.
Sure, I mean,
That's just semantics.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
I
depends.
turned him into a ghost.
Exactly. Like there's water, ice, vapor.
Yeah.
He was on that stage. I just assumed ghosts would go for me because old guys do.
And on that beautiful note, we are actually at the magic question
Oh,
hour.
wow,
That
okay.
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So if you could meet you at the beginning of your comedy journey, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, me?
You.
Oh.
no,
First
me.
one, yeah.
The ghost
I
behind you!
thought you guys were doing your twofer again.
No,
I mean, actually,
you're in the whole
I
time
thought
now.
the twofer was
You're
just
in
at
the
the
whole
beginning and
time
the end, and I was
now.
like,
Now
peace
it's all
out.
about you. Now it's all about you.
I'd be like, relax, bitch. Just settle down, pussycat. It's like anything, like it's fine, and this is not what's important. You just go have fun. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you like, oh my god, like speaking of precious, just
Right.
don't hold on, don't try. I was the queen of trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, I don't, that, just, it's like, have fun with it and don't care so much.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what the paper said?
Yeah.
The fact that knocked me off, that's why I came back, I think it's good that I returned because I'm like, oh my god, don't.
Yeah, you're like, why did I
Took
give
me a
that?
while
Yeah,
to-
why did I
Sure.
give that so much power?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, stop giving away the power to everybody else. I mean,
Well,
I know these
there's
are, I
stages
know
where you
these
take
are old
yourself so
tropes.
seriously
Yeah.
too. So if you're
Exactly.
the butt of somebody else's joke, it's like crushing.
Except now I'm just like, that's such an honor.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
why
now
do
if
you
someone
want
wrote,
someone's joke?
about me that I was like Bambi or Barbie, I'd be like, oh my god.
I probably would have thought that you
I'd kill for it now,
Yeah.
obviously.
I'd be like, I'm on the front
Am I
page of the
still
paper.
Bambi?
Yeah.
I'm Barbie from Ross. Like, you might find a Barbie you'd find at a dollar store
Okay.
where she has like a black eye. That's me.
Barbie,
Yes.
domestic goddess Barbie.
Whatever Barbie you got for me, I don't care. But yeah, so now, and again, like, just getting on the joke, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand why you reacted the way you did, because I think I would have in my early 20s too.
Yeah.
And now I would walk out in a full Barbie outfit. And
Oh,
just
100%.
like, queen of fucking Barbie.
Have you seen
know?
my shows?
Oh,
And it's also why I really, just like what you were told, one of the reasons, and I love fashion. I'm a former model, glue sniffer. But I also started, I dress up on stage because, when I first started, you need to not wear makeup, you need to dye your hair, you need to do,
Don't
to
look
dress
sexy.
down,
Don't be sexy. Yeah.
hoodie, and I'm like, and that's, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that
If
that
that's
were
you,
my style.
yeah, that's who you are.
So then I'm going on stage as not, like, again, that's what I
Like
tell you,
Daria or
just
some
be
shit.
yourself.
Mhm.
Who cares who doesn't like you? Be yourself, whatever.
Yeah, and find your audience that way. You will find people that resonate with you, and it's like everyone's trying to become like the next club comic. I don't really want to be. Like I'd rather do shows that are my show, like the shows where people are coming to see the kind of people that I surround myself with.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason we do this podcast, is because we're not all trying to be cookie cutters, or we're not trying to be edgelords.
I
or
know,
any of that
exactly.
shit.
I actually-
Edgelord is like, the word edgelord cracks me up
I
so
had
hard.
a conversation with somebody recently who was like having a little existential crisis because they were like, I used to be like hot young 20-something girl doing dating jokes, and I'm not that person anymore. Like, who do I target? And I'm like, I can't answer that question for you. I go, I've always just tried to target the weirdos because they are in every generation, and that's my truth.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, and also like just be age limitless. Who cares? Like again, are you dating? Then talk about dating and how it is for you now. Like obviously adjust.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. I always think like whatever tickles you will probably tickle the cow.
It's so much more
I don't think
universal.
anything's out of bounds or anything, but if it's pertinent to you.
Yeah, I think, and things are so much more universal than people imagine. Like, there have been a few jokes that I pitched to people where they've been like, no, that doesn't happen to anybody but your family. But for the most part, I pitched I was like, okay, oops.
But you want it to be, it's that beautiful balance of being completely original and somewhat universal.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, and that's why you always have to look at a joke and go, what's actually the emotional heart and core of this? Because it's specific because of the details that I'm putting on it, but everyone's had a mom who yells.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if that's what we're talking about. Unless she was mute. And then she tried to yell, so much that God took her voice away.
Hilarious. Again, I'm right here with you. I don't have any problems with it.
I
I'm supposed to be
apologize.
contrarian, but I'm on board.
She's like, yes, are we ready for some racism? Let's go.
I want to join the band. Yeah, maybe there. Maybe not that. I'm not sure for that, but pretty much anything else.
Pretty much anything
is
else.
on the table. It was on the table. Yeah.
All right, midgets, go. No.
Well, you notice I changed my jockey.
Jockey?
It was a midget who used to hold up my butt, and then I said I can't say midget anymore because of the hashtag Mini Me Too movement.
Yeah.
So that's right
Mini
there.
Me Too? Is that real?
Mini Me Too movement.
Oh my
God. I mean, not, but yes. Yes, I should not say
It
that
sounds
word.
really funny.
So...
I got like, am I
Even I think
laughing?
you gotta adjust. You gotta adjust.
Me too.
I know it.
Oh, I want to start it.
So I'm like, all right. So now it's there was a recast,
Well,
and now it's who is it? Hugh Grant. It's Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa holding up my butt.
Fantastic.
He actually was great in that movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
He was
but
one of the better parts of the movie.
We might have difference, but I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I didn't know it was going to be as musical as it was, and I also
The
like.
first one was also a musical, and people forget that.
I know, but I just like Gene Wilder's. Gene Wilder's was so creepy and fun, like the way that he did it. And Timothée Chalamet is a little bit more palatable for everyone.
But at
But
least
he's still
he wasn't
very
the
good.
train wreck that was Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp wasn't awful. I don't even absorb that.
It's like Fight Club. We
We
don't
don't
talk
talk
about
about
it.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't talk about
exactly.
it.
You don't talk about it.
When she said the first one, I'm like, I know she doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
I know she
No, that
means
was like
equalize.
I was living in Chicago when that one came out, and it was literally like a line in the sand for me. People were like, "I prefer that one." I'm like, "We're done. I can't be your friend anymore."
I like how the line in the sand was.
This one's totally different, and it's like a prequel. He's very lovely in the movie. I like the movie as a whole. I just don't see that they don't exist in the same multiverse.
Yeah,
to
they're
me.
not in the
They're
same universe,
different. Yeah, this is Earth 616, and this is Earth 952.
And it's like when someone's like, I've never seen an episode of Family Guy, and I'm like, I'm not sure if we can be friends.
I love that
I
show.
feel
I
like
still
you're
do.
gonna miss a lot of my references.
I love that Seth has been doing that for so long, and he really doesn't want to do it anymore. But they keep throwing buckets of money at him, so he just keeps saying yes. And then, like, to watch that show now, because they'll just like end an
It's
episode.
still strong, by
Yeah, it's still super strong, and they'll just end an episode like we don't know what the ending is, and then they'll just like that'll just end the show.
Yep. Or there'll be like a 15-minute chicken fight.
Oh, I love the
it's
15-minute
like,
chicken
it's
fight.
outrageous. Like,
Oh,
see,
I
I want
love
that zero fucks money where it's like, you know what? We think this
So
is
much
hilarious.
money.
Like, the edibles are just always kicking in.
That's
And they just finish
so
it
much
that
money.
way. I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to our guest, Carla Collins. You were amazing and lovely.
Great time.
All of
thank
her handles will be in the show notes. Please follow her. Go chill and giggle and chill.
Chuckle and
You
chill.
know
Chuckle
very
and chill.
well it's
God
chuckle
damn
and
it.
chill.
Chuckle and chill.
Why do you think the chill got thrown in there?
I need to just click it in chuckle fucker, chuckle and chuckle and chill. Then it's
As well, chuckle fuckers. Everyone is invited. Everyone's welcome. I don't discriminate.
Thank you guys for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe.
start a cult about us.
Yeah, and we will also be
I want to
posting
be Ellen Ron Hubbard. I'll be the leader.
so ugly.
Ellen Ron Hubbard is not ugly.
No.
She's a hot piece of.
Thank you guys for listening to Not Dead Yet.
But still killing.
And tell your friends about us. Listen next week. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.
Bye. We did it.
All right, let's record one.
No, that's for safety. We got it. We got it in one. Thank you. You're
That was
great.
so much fun, guys.
Ooh.
We
You're
have to do
I
the
could
blue
talk
ball
to you
picture.
I could talk to you for hours because you have so much history. I know that sounds like a bad compliment.
I feel like that's a time travel compliment.
I realize I just did the thing that I said I shouldn't do.
Well, it's because when the other
No, but it's like there are
I compare them
there are
park are
even-
covered
but
by
there